Hello friends, welcome for our new lecture on shock absorbers. In last modules we have seen what is suspension system, their types, independent suspension system, their type, working, construction, advantages and disadvantages. Again, types of non-independent suspension system, their working, construction and their relative advantages and disadvantages. Now in this new module we will be discussing about the shock absorbers. So what are shock absorbers? What is the purpose of those shock absorbers? And what are the different components used in a shock absorber? Their different types and relative advantages and disadvantages. So let's start with the lecture. So these are the major learning outcomes from this lecture. After the completion of lecture, you will be able to understand working principle of different type of shock absorbers. You can classify different types of shock absorbers, and you are able to select the appropriate shock absorber for a vehicle depending upon the different applications. So what is a shock absorber? So in their simplest form, shock absorbers are hydraulic pump like devices that help to control the impact and rebound movement of your vehicle springs and suspension. Along with smoothing out bumps and vibrations, the key role of the shock absorber is to ensure that the vehicle's tires remains in contact with the road surface at all the times, which ensures the safest control and braking response from your car. Essentially, shock absorbers do two things. Apart from controlling the movement of springs and suspension, shock absorbers also keep your tires in contact with ground at all times. At rest or in motion, the bottom surface of your tire is the only part of your vehicle which is in contact with the road. Any time that a tire contact with the ground is broken or reduced, your ability to drive, to steer and brake is severely compromised. Despite popular belief, shock absorbers do not support the weight of a vehicle. Firstly, a little bit of science. Shock absorbers work by taking the kinetic energy from the movement of your suspension and converting it to the thermal energy or heat that is then dissipated into the atmosphere through the mechanism of heat exchanger. But it's nowhere near as complicated as it may sound. As mentioned, shock absorbers are basically oil pumps. A piston is attached to the end of a piston rod and works against hydraulic fluid in the pressure tube. As the suspension travels up and down, the hydraulic fluid is forced through orifices or tiny holes inside the piston. Because the orifices only allow the small amount of fluid through the piston is slowed, which in turn slows down spring and suspension movement. Shock absorbers automatically adjust to road conditions because the faster the suspension moves, the more resistance they provide. In a vehicle, a shock absorber reduces the effect of traveling over rough ground, leading to improved ride quality and vehicle handling. While shock absorbers serve the purpose of limiting excessive suspension movement, their intended sole purpose is to damp spring oscillations. Shock absorbers are valving of oil and gases to absorb excess energy from the springs. Spring rates are chosen by the manufacturers based on the weight of the vehicle, loaded and unloaded. Some people use shocks to modify spring rates, but this is not the correct use. Along with the hysteresis in the tire itself, the damp the energy stored in the motion of the unsprung weight up and down. Effective wheel bounce damping may require turning shocks into an optimal resistance. Springs based shock absorbers commonly use only coil springs or leaf springs, though torsion bars are used in torsional shocks as well. Ideal spring alone, however, are not shock absorbers, as springs only store and do not dissipate or absorb energy. Vehicles typically employ both hydraulic shock absorbers and springs or torsion bars. In this combination, shock absorber refers specifically to the hydraulic piston that absorbs and dissipates vibration. Now, composite suspension systems are used mainly in two-wheelers, and also leaf springs are made up of composite materials in a four-wheeler. So different components of a shock absorbers are shown in the figure. Let's quickly go through it. Since shock absorbers are used in various applications, they are of different in design and operation. The truth is their part remains similar. Below are the major components of a shock absorber in a vehicle as shown in the figure. So first component is a mount. So this shock absorber part help to secure shock to the vehicle body and suspension. It consists of an upper and lower mount of the same design, containing a surface hollow part that allows bushing and bolt to be inserted. Second part is bushing. The bush is located on the mountings, usually made up of rubber and urethane. This bushing absorbs vibration and has separate metal parts to prevent noise and wear. Bushings are among shock absorber components that can be replaced. Next part is coil spring. So not all shock absorber features a coil spring in its parts. It's commonly known as a coil over shock absorber or spring coil shock absorber. Absorber with coil springs looks like a suspension strut. One can easily mistake for them for each other. Next part is piston and piston rod. Shock absorber's piston contains openings or valves that allow its parts to revolve around the movement of oil through pathways. The piston rod guides the piston inside the shock absorber cylinder. Next one is cylinder. This is a cylindrical tube that acts as the body of a shock absorber. It consists of compression oil and piston that moves inside it. Next parts are bolts. Bolts are fasteners used to hold a shock absorber to a vehicle's body on one end and suspension at the other end. These bolts must be torqued to the right torque value so that the absorber won't lose during operation. Some other small parts of car shock absorber includes oil seal. The oil seal helps to prevent the oil inside the shock absorber from leaking out while working. It also prevents contamination from entering the tube. Oil guide. This is an oil passage to ensure the smooth working of the absorber. Next component is rod guide. The rod guide gives the piston and rod smooth movement. Similarly, it contains nitrogen gas and gas chamber, which is contained in a chamber within the compression chamber or cylinder. It prevents the oil from forming bubbles. Washer and plates. These are a spacer that forms an important part of the shock absorber part. So, shock absorber can be divided into three types. First is telescopic shock absorber, which is furtherly divided into two types. First one is monotube telescopic shock absorber and twin tubes telescopic shock absorber. Again, gas filled shock absorber and hydraulic shock absorber. So these are the types of shock absorbers. We will see each one in detail. So the figure shows the telescopic shock absorber. So what is the construction of the telescopic shock absorber? The upper eye of the telescopic shock absorber is attached to the axle and the lower eye is attached to the chassis frame as shown in the figure. A two-way valve V1 is connected to a rod. Another two-way valve V2 is connected to the lower end of the cylinder. The fluid occupies in the space between above and below the valve V1 and also the annular space between the cylinder and tube. A gland is provided on the head. Fluid scraped out by the rod is brought down into the annular space through the inclined passages. When the vehicle comes across a bump, the lower eye will move up. So the fluid follows from the lower side of the valve V1 to the upper side. Due to less volume of the space above valve V1, the volume of the rod, the pressure is exerted on the valve V2. Thus, the dampening force is produced by the pressure of the fluid. The fluid will flow from the upper side of the valve V1 to the lower side when the lower eye moves down, and from the lower side of the valve V2 to the upper side. When a car absorbs shocks from the road surface, The suspension springs will compress and expand because the spring has the characteristics of continuing to oscillate for a long time of oscillation to stop. So, a riding comfort will be poor even the damp oscillations is supplied. Shock absorbers provide better road holding characteristics and improved steering stability to tires. The stronger is the dampening force, the more will be the oscillations of the body. But the shock from the damping effects becomes greater than the strength of the stronger damping force. The damping force varies with the speed of the piston. So as we discussed, telescopic shock absorbers are divided into two types. First one is monotube telescopic shock absorber and second is twin tube telescopic shock absorber. So we will see each one with their construction. So the figure shows monotube telescopic shock absorber. So as the name implies, this type of telescopic shock absorber has one tube with two chambers. To understand its construction, let's try to head out the image given below. There are two pistons, one is shown by P1 and other is by P2. Piston P1 is attached with the piston rod. Piston P2 is floating piston which can move upward and downward according to the pressure its upward and downward side. This shock absorber have two chambers A and B separated by the floating piston P2. The chambers upper chamber A is filled with the oil and lower chamber is filled with the high pressurized nitrogen gas. There are two eyes of the shock absorber which is shown by E1 and E2. E1 is connected to the chassis frame and E2 is connected to the axle. When the vehicle comes across a bump, the eye E2 tends to move upward. Therefore, to absorb the bump, piston P1 start to move downwards which compress the oil situated between chamber A. This will raise the oil pressure, thus the floating piston start to move downwards and compress the gas till the oil pressure and gas pressure equalize. This process uses the vibration energy of bump to compress the gas, thus absorbs vibration. When the vehicle again comes across the level road, the piston P1 start to move upwards which reduce oil pressure situated upper side of the floating piston. Due to this pressure difference, the floating piston start to move upward, thus the vehicle gets to its initial position. Now let's head toward twin tube telescopic shock absorber. As the name implies, these have two tubes. Before discussing about it, let's try to read out the picture. As shown in the diagram, this type of shock absorber have a twin tube, one inner tube shown by symbol A and other outer tube shown by symbol B. There are two-way valves, one is shown by V1 and other is by V2. Valve V1 is connected with a piston rod and free to move vertically inside the tube A. The valve V2 is fixed at one end at the tube A. Oil is filled inside the tube A below the valve V1. The initial condition piston, or we can say valve V1, is at middle of the cylinder. The annular space between tube A and B is half filled with the oil. There are two eyes of the shock absorbers which is shown by E1 and E2. E1 is connected to the chassis frame and E2 is connected to the axle. When the vehicle comes across a bump, the eye E2 tends to move upwards. Therefore, to absorb the bump, valve V1 start to move downwards which compress the fluid trapped between the valve V1 and V2. This will pressuring the valve V1 and V2, thus the oil start to move from upper side of the valve assembly through valve V1 and also some oil move in the annular space between tube A and B through valve V2. This process converts all the vibration energy into fluid friction and absorbs shocks. When the vehicle rebound, the valve V1 start to move upward which again pressurizing the valve V1 Hence, it open again and the oil start to flow below valve V1. During its upward movement, it also sucks some oil from the annular space between tube A1A and B. Thus, the vehicle gets to its initial conditions. So, these are the some advantages of telescopic shock absorber. So, this shock absorbers is available in various size and according to the requirement of the vehicle. Again, the operation of the telescopic shock absorbers are noise free. It requires less maintenance. They can be produced or manufactured with a low cost, and they can be used for high operating speed. So next type of shock absorber is gas filled shock absorber. So to prevent foaming and bubbles in the oil, which degrades the shock absorber performance, which is also a disadvantage of telescopic shock absorber or hydraulic type of shock absorber. A gas filled monotube shock has a chamber of high pressure nitrogen above the oil chamber. This high pressure of gas makes it difficult for bubbles to form in the oil, even when the shock absorber moves in and out very quickly, as it might while traveling rapidly on very rough or washboard road. Gas filled shock absorbers are expensive since they require strict manufacturing tolerances, but they are very resistant to fade and consequently are popular in off-road racing and rallying. Gas filled shocks, by the way, are not the same as air shocks, which are used in air chamber separates from the shock oil. An air shock is actually a spring that raises or lowers the vehicle when air is added or removed from the vehicle. So the rapid movement of the fluid in hydraulic shock absorber between the chambers causes foaming of the fluid. This rapid movement results in a lag because in the piston moves through an air pocket which affects the resistance. Foaming results in a decrease of damping and loss of spring control. Hence, gas filled shock absorbers are designed to reduce the foaming of the oil. The construction of gas filled shock absorber is as shown in the figure. The construction is simpler or similar except the double tube. Here a dividing piston is used. The piston rod is moved into the shock absorber which displaces the oil. This causes the dividing piston to press on the gas chamber, reducing its size. While returning, the gas pressure returns the dividing piston to its initial position. The pressure decreases behind the working piston cannot be high for the gas to exit from the oil column. Thus, the gas filled shock absorber operates without foaming. So, this is the some difference between telescopic gas observer and gas filled shock absorber. So, in this way, we have learned about the telescopic shock absorber and gas filled shock absorber. So both has its some advantages and disadvantages. We have seen their construction, their working principle. Now in next lecture we will be discussing about air suspension system. Thank you for listening.